money.
And so sometimes that's kind of what I think. I've always thought that. I'd be like, damn, you work your whole life and obviously you want to leave something behind. But then you start to think about the only thing that really matters is what you do while you're here. So I be wondering, like, do we be tripping sometimes? Do we be like,
we don't enjoy life enough.
We don't enjoy it. Like I literally would prefer had preferred my grandmother live. So let me give you an example. If you have a grandparent that lived to be 90, right, and they die at 90, chances are you're going to be 50-something. So if they leave you something behind and they're really just funding then you're really going to just use that to retire on their life.
Me and you had this conversation the other day, and you have more than one child. I have one.
Right.
And your children don't think exactly alike, right?
No, absolutely.
And so, but we had this conversation about leaving people stuff, right?
Right.
And I've been coming to the conclusion more and more in my adult life right now, how I currently think, and talking to older people who tried to leave people shit that didn't work out, is that we should just be funding the kids' dreams of what they have now.
Well,
just push them towards what they want to do now.
What I think,
instead of leaving them this house that they don't want to live in.
I'd be like, so okay, I could leave my kids something when they 50, 60, but what about when they 21, 22 and they got all the energy to like do something? Why I don't front load those dreams?
Instead of letting them fall constantly? No, and that's the wrong thing to say, because nobody knows they're gonna fall, but everybody makes mistakes.
Right.
But instead of what you're saying, giving them a good start, which I think other races do.
I'm saying when your kid is 21 years old and they tell you like this is an idea I had, why don't people get behind? And that's why I say it's kind of selfish, because it's kind of selfish because people be like, oh, I'm gonna leave them this, but I won't fund their dreams when they're in their 20s because I'm worried about myself.
That's crazy.
The only reason why you won't sacrifice everything you make to pour into your kid while you're still here is because you're worried about yourself. So don't leave the earth and then be sitting there talking about, oh, I'm leaving everything to them. No, well, if you believed in them, you would have gave it to them when they was here.
And you also want your kids to take care of an unhappy person that never lived.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So as you're on your way of declining in health and getting older,
I think
never lived.
I think there's a way to do both.
Absolutely.
I think there's a way to do both. I think there's a way to live your life and also prepare for the future as well. Quincy Jones, for instance, I heard he just passed away and left $500 million.
Like 80 to each kid.
80 to each kid or something like that. That's dope. How many of those kids that he left that type of bread to are going to go on and extend the generational wealth to generations after them?
What do we see or what do we think about companies? Because that's another thing, Blends. Sometimes we say shit and it's kind of like Blake statements, right? I'll say, oh, you wore this clothing line, but you didn't wear mine, and I'm a black person, and you didn't, and this is Louis Vuitton, right?
Right.
But Louis Vuitton family doesn't own Louis Vuitton. Like, that's not a legacy that continued.
Right.
That company was sold.
Right.
Different things and I be thinking, we think sometimes like, oh, like Levi's, they got it, they still together. That's still family.
Right.
But I'm saying most of these companies who we think started it still have control of it.
Right.
And we be thinking like we build other people. No.
That's
not necessarily true.
I also think sometimes circulating dollars it doesn't circulate. Like, you know, we be like support black business. I literally fuck with that concept. It makes sense. It creates like economic stability, all those things, right? But a lot of times when you just support the homie T-shirt line from the hood, he gonna take your bread and go spend it with.
Infrastructure wise, we don't really. I think that's why everybody is attracted to Atlanta,
right?
Because infrastructure wise, you can find a black person like you that does everything. I think that's why we attracted to that place. You know what I mean?
Right,
like when you're home, I can't even, once you do support my T-shirt line, it's hard for me to find a T-shirt press that can.
But Rab, if you have a business, right, and you got a T-shirt line, and I support your T-shirt line, but I support you, and then you take the proceeds, and then you go spend it with Louis Vuitton.
No, not even. I'm not even gonna go there. Spend it with the pressing company that's not us. Right? You already just on business alone. Not even nothing you want.
So the dollar stops.
Out of here.
It's out of here. These are the things. These are the conversations that's not being had. Right? Everybody just like support black. Okay, support black business. I go support the fish fry up the street. Right? The dude who got the food truck. Boom. Black business. Boom. Then he take my money, and then he go boom. Take his family to Roof Chris.
Or let's say this. Let's say he has the opportunity. This is another thing, black folks, that I want y'all to understand. Sometimes if Brownie is selling me a product, I might have to spend $5 extra with him because he can't get that price that those other people, when you be like, oh, well, the people down the street only charge. I'm going to tell you right now, all the time, we can't get the shit for the same price. Sometimes you just got to support what's in your demographic.
But if you see it,
or geographic
and not to
area.
Get too far off subject, the T-shirt line you just supported from the hood, where is he getting the T-shirts from?
That's my point.
Nobody, we don't consider. So it's a bigger conversation, and so I don't even necessarily know if it's an ownership conversation or it's a business conversation. I think it's a matter of like, at the end of the day, I think that's the Kanye argument. That's what Kanye was trying to talk about. When people didn't understand,
not owning factories and shit.
He was like, you get to a certain level of shit, and then you're like, oh, damn, it's more gatekeepers. I think that's what he was talking about because we don't really, at the end of it, we just don't have a whole lot of control over much.
I wanted to ask you too, when we talk about legacy still in that realm, something that was real hot this week. Captain Klay. I need my hat too. I would have wore it right now.
Captain Klay, I started to bring it, but I said I wanted to make it special when I handed it to your daughter, not you.
Oh, that's
it's hers, not yours.
Yeah,
you see how you just said that's her hat.
I mean, I would have wore it. Captain Klay. Talk about that, Blends. Like, what do you feel in this situation? I mean, I love Klay to death. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say this before you say it because you got a lot of more personal relationships, right? I want to say this before you say it. Is I don't want to say I don't like how it was handled, but I don't like how it was handled. I was thinking more so like when it comes down to the Klay situation and we talking about legacy, like I want to say this first. I don't like how he handled it because I just felt like that unit and that brotherhood was something totally different, right? That unit and that brotherhood was something that we never seen before,
right?
And so when we have to see what we saw news-wise and media-wise, was it all cap or was it real feelings? How do you look at it?
Are you serious right now?
Yeah, like was it real feelings? Like, does he feel how he feels towards the organization? Because I don't even feel the fans got enough.
Man, listen, Rad. When you talk about what Klay has meant to the Golden State Warriors, we talking about 4 championships. We talking about you can never take away what Klay has added to the legend of the dynasty of the Golden State Warriors from 2014 to now, right? That's what I think. That was a 2-part thing, and I wasn't able to turn it off. I heard Draymond speak, and I heard and I saw Steph energy. But like when the game start, I think that's from a player perspective. But from when the game started, we're like, we want to win. I feel like that was about the hats and everything. I feel like that was about paying homage to somebody that played a very pivotal role in what the Golden State Warriors are, and he should have a statue out there as well. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that was about that. I think if you make the whole conversation about what Klay added in the end or how things kind of transpire business-wise, I think you lose sight of the important part. And the important part was we aren't who we were without Klay Thompson and what he contributed. And I think that's the end of it. And I think that's why you saw an arena full of people with Captain Klay hats on. You got to remember, Klay didn't really even start driving his boat till maybe 2000 and what? I don't know, 20? 21 or something. 20. So that wasn't even like a thing until later. So when I think of Klay Thompson, I don't think about the injuries, I don't think about the downtimes, I think about all the success, everything he added, all the blood, sweat, and tears. And he's a part of that. Everybody know that. Dre know that. Steph know that. Everybody know that. The fans know that. So I think if you focus on that, it made that night special. If you look at it any other way, then
I guess I'm always like a storybook nigga, and I thought like it felt resentful at first. You know, I mean, I know we poured the love on as the Warriors community and Dub Nation. Y'all did that. I want to say hats off to everybody. Like, we made Klay know that, listen, bro, that business shit has nothing to do with how we feel about you and what you did for this organization and these fans. But I almost felt bad that he's out of those three that he's just like, I always thought that, and that's not even reality. It's not even reality for three guys to retire together. Like, when is that ever a thing? Like, when does, like, and so I think we got so caught up in these championships and these dudes that stuck together on this team that we forgot how the business of the NBA actually works.
Right, of course. And to me, that's the downside of involving the fans and average people in that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? These are things that we shouldn't even know or understand or have a clue about. To me, somebody like Klay Thompson retiring in a perfect world as a Warrior, he may very well still retire as a Warrior.
Absolutely. Don't think that's not a possibility.
Him playing for another team. Michael Jordan played for another team.
Andre Iguodala played for another team and came back and won a championship.
It's very rare that somebody retires with the team that drafted them. I think in order to retire with the team that drafted you, I think you have to add
real shit
some type of value. There has to be some type of value in there outside of what you individually do on a basketball court.
Shit. You niggas run to IG for inspiration, cause your immediate circle ain't good for shit but hating. How you hustling just to get complacent? We never settle. Run these bitches, then we pick replacements. About my money, niggas more concerned with getting famous.